Fox Virginia News at 10 is next. Tonight, Albemarle County Board of Supervisors discussing tax rates in a budget work session. We'll tell you what they're proposing.
Plus, an Albemarle High School student allegedly sent serious threats through email and social media, now in a juvenile detention center. More details from school officials.
And Governor Glenn Youngkin signed 2 bills that led to common ground between pro-gun and gun safety advocates. It's 10 o'clock. Time for your Fox Virginia News.
Now, Fox Virginia News at 10.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Alexia Williams.
And I'm Ashley Brooks. We're going to come back to those stories in just a moment, but first, here's Travis with your Fastcast.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
Got about a quarter-inch of rain today across most of the area. Some places did see a little bit more, and those showers lingering into this Wednesday night, though most of them are east of Charlottesville. Still, that said, the city proper, some light showers at this time, some steadier rain in eastern Albemarle County, as well as Fluvanna and Buckingham counties. Those showers zippering from northeast, southwest to northeast, and that trend will continue during the overnight. Temperatures holding fairly steady, 49 degrees the temperature right now in Charlottesville and Scottsville, 48 in Lake Monticello and Madison, 46 in Orange, and 49 degrees in Culpeper. So tonight, what you see is what you get. Clouds, some fog, a few showers here and there. Temperatures fairly steady, and then clouds tomorrow, showers in the morning, return of sunshine in the afternoon, a high 58, but we're right on that line between nothing and something in terms of rain. Some parts of the area will be wetter than others, and I'll tell you what I'm seeing in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good, Travis. Thank you. Well, tonight, the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors held what could have been their last work session on the proposed budget just before hearing public feedback.
Supervisors will decide whether they'll have one more session to discuss the matter if need be. Until then, Fox Virginia's Garrett Witten has the latest.
During the work session, county officials discussed raising the personal property tax rate while maintaining the real property tax rate. It's important to note this is not final.
We set the maximum tax rates for consideration.
It's been a busy few weeks for the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors.
And we set the budget for advertising.
They've been reviewing and working on the budget that was recommended to them February 21st.
When we looked at the budget in detail, we identified several things that weren't funded that we felt were particularly important for public safety and security.
To fund and maintain county emergency services, Jim Andrews, chair of the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors, says the board has made some changes to what was recommended to them.
We proposed to increase the personal property tax by 54 cents.
It's a tax on things like cars or boats. Andrews says that charging 54 cents per $100 would bring the county to a revenue level consistent with that in fiscal year 2022, before they dropped the tax 86 cents in response to high car prices and other drastic supply chain issues. But he says the current real property tax will remain the same.
We have talked to people at town halls and recognized that these public safety needs for ambulance service, for fire service, for additional police are being requested by the public.
Andrews says a lot of the revenue collected will help the county's schools too.
When we adjust these tax rates, that is also providing significant additional revenue under this proposed rate, an additional close to $3 million annually for schools.
Now he says they have also proposed to raise the lodging tax by 1 cent. The first public hearing will be held on April 17th. There will be another on April 24th. In the studio, Garrett Witten, Fox Virginia News.
State police are asking for help in finding a convicted sex offender. 63-year-old Sheldon Davis was previously registered in Orange County and is wanted on 4 counts of failing to re-register as a sex offender. Davis was previously living in the Rhodesville area and is believed that he is still in the Central Virginia area. He's described as being 5'9" and weighing around 175 pounds. He has brown hair and green eyes. Call state police if you can help find Sheldon Davis.
School and law enforcement officials responding to a threat against Albemarle High School last night was made by a student.
That's the second violent incident involving the school in less than a week. Our Fox Virginia's Felicity Taylor has this story.
The person was already somewhat on radar.
An Albemarle High School student is in a juvenile detention center after they allegedly sent social media and email threats to community members Tuesday night. The student is charged with threats of death or bodily injury to persons on school property.
The way it was communicated is still a Class 6 felony regardless, and it was also communicated to a staff member.
A Class 6 felony carries 1 to 5 years in prison and a possible fine. School officials say they monitor threats in social media through an anonymous alert system constantly, but this one stood out.
Based on the information we were able to gain through our investigation, we felt it was a credible threat.
This marks the second violent incident involving AHS in the last week. On Friday, the school says a student punched a female teacher after they refused to go to class.
Seems to be independent instances. I don't think we're dealing with a collective activity.
In a letter to parents, the school principal says that student is also facing school consequences and criminal charges.
Day to day, our kids are really not in a position where they're going to be dealing with concerns of physical threats and harm. Still think schools are still extremely safe. We do have instances where things arise.
Felicity Taylor, Fox Virginia News.
Be talking to their kids about their internet usage and monitoring them. They also say that if students feel uncomfortable, they should contact an administrator immediately.
The effort to bring the Washington Capitals and Washington Wizards to Virginia appears to be over. The Washington Post reports the city of Alexandria, the site of the proposed Potomac Yard development, has stopped negotiations. You'll remember back in December, Governor Glenn Youngkin and team owner Ted Leonsis announced a deal to move the teams from D.C. to Northern Virginia. Leonsis just signing a new agreement tonight with Washington, D.C. to keep the teams there. The plan was quickly shot down here in Virginia in the General Assembly. The governor releasing a statement saying in part personal and political agendas drove away a deal with no upfront general fund money and no tax increases that created tens of thousands of new jobs and billions in revenue for Virginia. To read his entire statement, you can head to our website. Governor Glenn Youngkin getting praise from both pro-gun and gun safety advocates for the two bills he signed into law.
Our Fox Virginia's Gretchen Stinger spoke to advocates from both sides of the argument.
On Tuesday, Governor Youngkin signed 2 firearm bills into law. One bans a device that turns a semi-automatic firearm into a machine gun. The other allows a parent or guardian to be charged with a felony for allowing a child who has been deemed a threat to have access to a gun.
We were satisfied with everything he did.
Every law that we can get enacted to reduce gun violence in Virginia is a step forward.
According to Everytown, firearms are the leading cause of death in children and teens. Every year, 19,000 children are shot and killed, and 3 million are exposed to gun violence. Advocates on both sides of the gun debate found some common ground after new gun bills were signed into law. One in particular, protecting children.
And guns should be kept out of the hands of those who can pose a danger to self or others, especially when it comes to our children.
If the parent was absolutely knowledgeable that his child was dangerous, and then negligently let that child get a hold of a gun or some other weapon, really, and cause harm, then, yeah, the parent should be held accountable for that.
And that was our Fox Virginia Gretchen Stinger reporting. Well, a local precision medicine and science company launched a test that will change the way that lupus patients get care. Ample Biosolutions created a blood test called Lugene. Now, Lugene will predict if someone is likely to have lupus flares. Lupus is an autoimmune disease, and a flare-up is when the body attacks itself. By identifying flares from the test, a doctor can then prescribe the correct medicine to prevent the flare.
Does the person have a flare? And if the answer is no, that means they're stable on the medications that they're on. That's only about 5% of all patients.
This test is 10 years in the making for the Charlottesville funded, and based company. Now it's their first product, and starting today, the tests are available at 10 doctors' offices across the country.
A student at Albemarle High School was named the winner of the Virginia Lottery thanks to a teacher art contest. She submitted a piece of art that will go on the back of thank you cards that will be distributed to teachers all across the state for Teacher Appreciation Week. The winner, Helen, who you see right there, shares the inspiration behind her art.
This artwork is like a metaphor comparing the teachers to soil filled with knowledge and past experiences, helping the seeds, in this case it's like the students, blossom into big tall trees and help them achieve their dreams, their goals, and their ambition.
She says she was encouraged by her art teacher to enter the contest. Now she has brought back $2,000 for the art program at AHS. She says she's excited that her artwork will be a part of thanking the teachers who have impacted her life. A tragic finding this morning in the Tapsco River in Baltimore.
Officials say 2 bodies have been recovered from the site of the Baltimore Bridge collapse. I'm Rebecca Castor with those details and an update on the investigation next.
Talking about some rain overnight and tomorrow morning, then the weekend. Any more rain for the Easter egg hunts? Find out after this.